Welcome to MATCH B2B INSIGHTS. I'm Brenda, and today I want to start by welcoming Daniel, who's joining us on the podcast. Daniel brings hands-on expertise in building marketing and sales infrastructures for small Israeli companies, with a strong focus on combining AI with the right operational tools. His work helps teams save significant time and create effective online connections with customers, partners, and influencers, all while competing globally with far fewer resources. Daniel, we're really glad to have you with us. I'm also joined, as always, by Benny Fluman, CEO of MATCH B2B, who works closely with Israeli companies expanding into international markets. Today, we're diving into a topic that comes up in almost every go-to-market conversation we have. That critical moment when a sales proposal lands in the inbox of a global buyer. It's not just a quote. Especially when you're selling from Israel into new markets, it's often the very first signal of how professional, structured, and reliable you are as a potential partner. Before we go deeper into what global buyers are looking for, I want to bring Benny in for a moment. Benny, you work day-to-day with Israeli companies that have strong products and great technology, and yet deals still stall at the proposal stage. Why does this moment become such a trust test for them?
Yeah, I love that. And just jumping in, it's not a formality. It's a big trust moment. Sometimes, especially for Israeli firms that are brilliant at tech, there's this assumption, hey, the product will speak for itself. But international buyers, they're reading between the lines. For them, the proposal is the first real test. Are you for real? Are you in tune with our pain or just tossing us another offer? Even the format and the wording matter, especially if you're the challenger or new player on their turf.
Exactly, Benny. And global buyers, especially in enterprises, use proposals as a proxy for how you'll handle the relationship. Will you be detail-oriented, transparent, and responsive, or will it be chaos? If you get this right, you're not just quoting a price, you're already establishing alignment. The proposal is often the difference between that "let's move forward" or a silent rejection. It's their filter. Plain and simple.
Let's get straight to something that trips up a lot of smaller firms. The myth that price is the main factor. In reality, buyers, especially international ones, want value, certainty, and trust. If they're down to 2 vendors and your proposal is just a laundry list plus the lowest bid, you might actually lose because they sense you're just desperate to win, or maybe you'll cut corners. Cheap isn't always a strategic advantage for complex B2B deals.
That's so true. An effective proposal actually shifts the whole conversation away from "how much does it cost" to "how much pain can you take off my plate?" or "how does this investment reduce my risk or boost my outcomes?" Global buyers aren't just trying to save a few bucks, they want a sense of assurance and value. I've seen proposals structured around business outcomes, like ROI, mitigation of specific risks, or reducing operational friction. Those get attention.
Right, and it's not just about being the lowest bidder. It's about signaling that you're investing in the relationship and the client's priorities. If I'm evaluating 2 very close proposals, the one that positions itself as a business partner, not a vendor with a lowest cost mindset, will almost always get the call back. So, what really signals true investment? Clear articulation of outcomes, willingness to address tough questions, and demonstrating you understand my pain better than anyone else.
Before we ever write a word in a proposal, real groundwork begins. Deep discovery. That's where too many companies short-circuit the process and end up generic. You have to really understand the buyer's needs, the pain points, internal politics, and the hurdles they're up against. Otherwise, you're shooting in the dark.
Absolutely. I always say, if your proposal reads like it could be handed to 3 totally different companies and sound the same, you probably rushed discovery. Daniel, you have this framework for mapping out buyer personas and even the internal approval processes before you start writing. Want to break that down for folks?
Sure, it's pretty simple, but critical. First, you map the DMU, the decision-making unit. In a large pharma organization, that might mean you've got legal, procurement, technical, and business stakeholders, each with a say or even a veto. Compare that to a SaaS startup where maybe the founder is both the tech and business owner. By mapping that out early, you spot whose pain needs addressing and who will try to shoot holes in your proposal later. That clarity guides everything else: what objections to cover, how technical to get, even the tone and language for each section.
That's such a big point. Too many teams forget that behind every company are individuals making decisions for completely different reasons. Know their motives, and you'll know how to craft your value argument. Otherwise, you're just hoping someone passes your proposal along. And hoping is not a strategy.
Let's unpack structure, because this is where most Israeli B2B teams overcomplicate things. Or worse, try to merge marketing and legal into a single slab. Best practice? 2-part proposal. Up front, you have a concise marketing section. Why us? How we solve your pain, who we are, a taste of our work. Then, after you've set the emotional hook, you follow with the technical. Scope, deliverables, timing, pricing, and any legal terms you need.
And don't forget, industry matters here. If I'm pitching to a German IT distributor, as I once did, I'll keep the marketing part super lean, maybe a slide or two, and get to the detailed technical bits fast. For a professional services pitch in the US, I might expand the front section with more storytelling, references, and visuals. But always, keep marketing and technical clearly separated. If the buyer has to hunt for basic info, you're making it hard for them to say yes.
It's about guiding the buyer through your story, step by step, showing you know their business, then removing friction in decisions by laying everything out transparently. Don't overwhelm, but don't skip detail where it matters either. It's a delicate balance.
Now, let's talk about establishing instant credibility. Proposal structure helps, but nothing speaks like third-party validation. Case studies, testimonials, even sample deliverables. When a buyer sees proof you've solved similar pain elsewhere, trust skyrockets. But don't underestimate the power of layout and design either.
Absolutely, Brenda. There's this hidden layer to proposals, the visual. But don't go overboard with trendy design for the sake of it. What killed one of my old competitors was actually a proposal that was so dense and over-designed, it came out as confusing. It's like wrapping a gift in 10 layers. No one wants to dig through it. Clarity over flash, always.
Oh, that reminds me. A local Israeli company lost a Fortune 500 pilot. And you know why? Their PDF proposal was a disaster. Wrong fonts, weird colors, and worst of all, you had to scroll endlessly to find the scope. The buyer literally told me, if this is how they present themselves, what will delivery look like? Sometimes, trust is broken before you're even through the gate.
Okay, so you've set the scene and built confidence. Now it's time for the technicals: clear deliverables, payment terms, warranty periods, cancellation terms, and, this is big, IP clauses. These aren't just lawyer things, they're about managing mutual expectations and reducing buyer anxiety.
Yeah, but whenever we talk about legal, teams get nervous. I hear a lot. Should we send terms up front? Or wait until the contract? Honestly, there's no one-size-fits-all. Some buyers expect all terms in the proposal, particularly in industries like SaaS or pharma. Others just want the basics, with legal coming later. I always say, clarify what the buyer is used to. Push for transparency, but don't scare someone with a monster legal annex if it's not culturally normal.
I might be wrong here, but sometimes if you blend legal and sales too soon, it can kill momentum. If you sense a nervous or relationship-driven buyer, maybe hold back heavy legal till you're shortlisted. But always, always spell out what you'll deliver, what triggers milestones, and the basics of payment terms. That's non-negotiable for building buyer certainty.
Ambiguity is the enemy. If your proposal has fuzzy sections, vague scope, unclear pricing, open-ended timelines, global buyers will seize on that and see you as risky. especially when you're trying to break into new regions. So, I use a personal benchmark. If someone from legal, procurement, and the business team all get it in 30 seconds, you're nailing it. If any of them get lost, it's back to the drawing board.
Itemized pricing, explicit deliverables, detailed timelines, even calling out what's not included. These things set pros apart from hopefuls. I always recommend a one-page checklist: scope, deliverables, risks, and a clean timeline. When you're clear, you make the buyer's job easier, and your win rate goes up.
And don't forget, transparency is not about overwhelming with detail. It's about putting the right info in the right place. I always mix up. Do I list change requests in pricing or in the scope? What matters is, wherever you put it, don't let the buyer make assumptions. Because if they have to ask what something costs or when it will be done, you've already slowed yourself down. Proposals are just like chess. If you don't show your next 3 moves, operational, financial, and delivery risks, the other side will assume the worst. I've seen SaaS buyers who obsess over SLAs and logistics buyers who only worry about on-time delivery. If you don't address risks head-on, you leave a huge opening for doubt.
Yeah, managing risk in proposals is about reassurance. Spell out not only how you'll deliver, but how you'll handle things if, inevitably, something drifts off plan. For SaaS, that means SLAs and uptime guarantees. For integration projects, it's clear change management processes and adjustment mechanisms. When you own and de-risk the process, buyers start to relax and lean into the solution, not the problems.
Exactly. Even mentioning how you deal with unforeseen delays, late payments, or changes makes you look real, like you've done this before and have answers, not excuses. That's what global buyers really want. So let's talk about what happens after your proposal lands. Buyers rarely say yes instantly. It's all about their internal approval process. If you wrote your proposal to be clear and linear, you're making it easier for procurement, legal, and management to align quickly. If not, you're going to see last-minute questions or, worse, silence.
Exactly, Brenda. What's happening behind the scenes is a maze of stakeholder reviews. Typically, after receipt, the proposal is circulated. First to the business head, then procurement, then legal, and sometimes even compliance. Any ambiguity creates friction and slows everything down. I always recommend a nudge touch point just after sending to check if they need clarification or supporting docs.
And don't forget, momentum matters. If you don't follow up, you disappear from their radar. A simple, "Is there anything blocking your decision-making?" keeps your proposal front of mind and signals that you're proactive, not just waiting for good news. All right, rapid fire. Biggest proposal mistakes. Number 1, focusing on features instead of pain. Number 2, incoherent structure or dumping the legal on the marketing page. Number 3, over-designing or, maybe worse, sending proposals way too late or too early. I used to spend days tweaking layouts, making things look perfect, wasted hours. Adopting a get-it-done, get-it-out mindset with the right templates halved our proposal cycle times. Prospero, for example, saved us silly amounts of back and forth.
Yeah, proposal tools like Prospero are built for exactly that. Fast adaptation, easy edits, built-in tracking, even digital signatures so you're not chasing PDFs around. It's about getting things out there professionally in a fraction of the time, without getting lost in perfectionism.
Totally agree. Tech hacks aren't about removing thought. They let you focus on customization, stakeholder mapping, and strategic storytelling instead of copy-pasting and version control drama. The right tools, used well, make you look bigger, faster, and more credible than teams triple your size.
Let's shift to the human layer, cultural and regional adaptation. Proposals can look amazing on paper, but if you miss the nuances of local business etiquette, you'll hit a wall. That might mean presenting more formally in Germany or adopting a more conversational tone in the US. And don't even get me started on relationship building in Asia, where hierarchy and subtlety rule.
Exactly. I once blew a Spanish proposal by failing to highlight a mutual local partner. Next time around, started including region-specific references, even customer testimonials from same markets, and bang, the doors started opening. It's like cooking. Same base recipe, but you need to adjust the spices for the local palate.
Worth remembering too, presentation format matters. North American buyers might be fine with a slick digital deck, whereas in France, a well-printed, bound document is still considered professional. Research, adapt, and always double-check for local language quirks or references that prove you get the local context.
Once the proposal's out, the real work starts. Follow-up. But checking in isn't a strategy. You want a structured plan. Regular, but not annoying check-ins, always tied to the buyer's decision cycle. Reference their pain points, previous discussions, anything that reminds them you're really listening.
Right, and leverage all the channels you can. Email, phone, sometimes even LinkedIn or WhatsApp if it's appropriate regionally. What works in Tel Aviv is not what works in Tokyo. Adapt your comms to where your buyers are already communicating so you're natural, not intrusive.
Yeah, and a little personalization here goes a long way too. Mention something from an earlier call. Remember our chat about onboarding timelines? That's how you move from vendor back to trusted advisor in their mind.
Proposal management tools are the real MVP in any global sales operation. Use them to create templates, manage versions so nothing falls through the cracks, and track engagement. If you hook them up to your CRM, you can personalize every proposal based on client history and regional behaviors. Analytics can tell you if sections are getting read or ignored, which helps you improve every round.
Absolutely. The right tech can bring structure and speed. You can see if your proposal was opened or if the client lingered over any section. Digital delivery also enables you to tweak and resend in minutes if something changes last minute. Plus, automating updates keeps everyone on the same page, even if your team is distributed across time zones.
Don't forget, tech is no substitute for homework. Use the time you save not for shortcuts, but to dig deeper into buyer research and narrative tailoring. That's where you can outsmart the big budgets, every single time.
Let's double-click on follow-up, because honestly, it's where most proposals go to die. The best teams have mapped out touchpoints against the buyer's timeline. When's the internal review? When do decision committees meet? And so on. Each follow-up is tied to real deal stages, not just calendar days.
Customize each touchpoint as well. Don't just say checking in. Say, wanted to clarify the new compliance requirement you mentioned, or attached a testimonial from a similar client in healthcare as discussed. It shows you're engaged, not just pushing for a signature.
And it's important to flex your channel strategy. Some buyers hate endless email chains, but love a quick WhatsApp ping. Others expect formal updates. Mirror their style, keep it consistent, and you'll make steady progress instead of getting ghosted.
All right, let's say your proposal is spot on. You followed up. Now comes the delivery and negotiation. Don't just hit send and hope. Be ready to deliver a clear, tailored pitch. Summarize the key benefits, make it personal to the buyer, and be ready for the big objections. That means training your sales team, not just on product, but on negotiation and handling tough questions regionally.
Absolutely. In some cultures, negotiation is direct. In others, it's more nuanced or relationship-based. Role-play common scenarios so your team can adapt. And make sure you have clear protocols internally. If the buyer needs revisions or clarification, you want to respond fast and keep the deal moving forward. Every delay is an opportunity for doubts or competitors to sneak in.
And don't forget to prep your materials for each negotiation. I sometimes create a one-pager summarizing why us with region-specific proof points. It helps anchor the conversation when objections come up. Proactivity here is a game changer.
Building on that, your negotiation strategy needs to flex to regional norms and individual decision-makers' preferences. Some teams want a highly collaborative negotiation. Others expect you to stand your ground. Have a process for rapid proposal reviews. If the buyer comes back with changes, your team shouldn't be scrambling to find the latest version or waiting on approvals. Agility wins deals.
And Daniel, you've made this point before. Train your team with scenario-based objections. So when the "what about this clause" question comes, they're ready with evidence, not improvisation. Confidence and speed in negotiations can tip a deal back in your favor, even if the initial proposal wasn't perfect.
Role play is your friend. We run internal simulations for common curveballs. It gets your team comfortable with real-world pressure. I'd rather my team stumble in rehearsal than on stage with the client.
Let's not skip feedback loops. After every negotiation round, create a channel back to the buyer. Were there any unclear parts? Any big objections? The faster you get honest feedback, the faster you close. Plus, if you track which proposal sections are most reviewed or debated, you can double down on those or tighten them up.
Analytics are powerful here. If every client lingers on the pricing table or skips your value proposition, that's actionable data. Use it to make rapid, targeted updates that really move the needle. The companies who iterate fast win deals, period.
And empower your team. Let them take measured risks with refinements. If you wait for perfection or endless internal debates, your competition will already be in contract. Feedback, iterate, execute. That's the rhythm.
After proposals and even negotiation, the work still isn't over. Keep your engagement tailored to their decision timeline. Check in with relevant updates, reference past pain points. Basically, remind them you get it. Use different channels and try to showcase proactivity, not just persistence.
Right, and it's about keeping your offer fresh while reinforcing your value. Not just, "Hey, did you sign yet?" Consider sharing market insights, small wins from other relevant clients, anything to show you invested for the long haul. These touches nudge buyers off the fence and keep the relationship warm.
Also, respect preferences. If your buyer likes regular calls or DMs, mirror that. Productive, purposeful engagement means you're always top of mind when it's finally go time. Back to tech for a second. Leverage proposal tools integrated with your CRM so you automate personalization and get real-time insights. If you notice most engagement happens with your testimonials or operational risk sections, optimize those. Version control also reduces errors and keeps everything current, crucial for larger deals with evolving requirements.
Yeah, in over 3 years using tools like Prospero, the game changer has been reducing admin. More time for customizing strategy, less for chasing updates. Always analyze which sections get the most play and refine accordingly.
Exactly. Data-driven tweaks sound boring, but they beat gut feelings every time. Catch what's resonating, what's ignored, and keep evolving. Stagnant proposals are like stale bread. Nobody bites.
Let's touch on the art of presenting proposals, especially in live or virtual sessions. Tailor your presentation to what the buyer wants to hear most. Highlight benefits in their language, respond with examples from their region, and adjust for cultural preferences. If you can anticipate objections and address them in the pitch, you maintain momentum and keep things positive.
Right. And your sales team should have rapid-fire responses ready. Sometimes, buyers test you just to see how you react, not even caring about the answer as much as your confidence and preparedness. Internal protocols for quick replies and solid answers matter more than a PDF jam-packed with what-ifs.
I also like to prep slides or cheat sheets based on deal stage, especially for late-stage negotiations when the small details get scrutinized. Visual clarity helps everyone stay focused, and it positions your team as sharp and engaged, not scrambling or defensive.
All this is for nothing if you don't measure. Set KPIs. win rates, proposal cycle time, and maybe most importantly, honest feedback scores from buyers, even losses. Look for patterns. Which sections are working? Where do deals slow down or die? Build a structured review process and document every lesson, good or bad.
And I'd add, don't just measure what's easy. Go deeper. Are your proposals driving speedier cycles? Are you the first or last to get feedback? If you lost, was it on price, risk, or credibility? Each insight becomes a lever for the next proposal.
It's like in chess. If you don't review your games, you keep making the same blunders. Take the time, share findings with your team, and iterate. Proposal excellence is a process, never an accident.
Circling back, we can't overstate post-submission engagement. After the proposal, set a follow-up schedule that matches the buyer's internal process. Reference specific pain points or previous talks. Make it personal, make it real. Multiple touchpoints, adapted for each region, signal you're in this for the partnership, not just the PO.
That's key, Brenda. The more consistently you reach out with purpose and value, the more likely you'll stay top of mind. Mixing up communication, email, phone, even social, as the deal matures, won't make you seem pushy if you're genuinely adding value each time.
And don't underestimate the power of a quick call, especially for nuanced markets. Sometimes that 5-minute catch-up is worth 10 emails. Build rapport, not reminders. It makes all the difference.
Each proposal is a goldmine for data. After every deal, won or lost, run a systematic review. Which sections had the most impact? Where did you lose them? Refine future proposals based on real engagement analytics. And always ask buyers for structured feedback on clarity, relevance, and professionalism. That insight is gold.
Absolutely. Even a single question, what almost stopped you from moving forward, can reveal blind spots. Use that to amplify your strengths and correct what's tripping you up. And share best practices across teams, not just with the proposal writer.
I always say, if some part of your proposal is being ignored, don't be precious about it. Double down on what's working. Data doesn't lie. Your next win is hiding in your last review session.
Last point. None of this sticks without ongoing team training. Make regional negotiation styles, cultural sensitivity, and effective communication part of your onboarding and skills programs. Have role plays, case studies, and peer review on a regular cadence to keep everyone sharp.
Yeah, training is not a one-time fix. We set up monthly deal rooms. Everyone brings their toughest proposals, toughest objections. It's amazing how quickly the team levels up just by analyzing live cases together. You can't learn real-world pressure from a PowerPoint alone.
And always maintain a feedback loop. Let sales team members review and critique each other's work. You'll build a culture of continuous improvement, and your proposals and win rates get better every quarter. It's a team sport, not a solo act.
That wraps another episode of Match B2B Insights. Thanks so much to everyone listening. Daniel, Benny, this was packed. As always, you two make the complexities of global B2B just a little simpler. We'll see you in the next episode. And hey, if you've got questions, shoot them over. Goodbye for now.
Cheers, Brenda, Benny. See you all next time.
Thanks, everyone. Until next time, keep those proposals sharp.